I was known way back in high school as the girl who didn't want to have kids. If they didn't know my name, they knew that I didn't want to have kids. But God had a different plan for me. So to think that I would be standing in China one day and people walk out and hand over a baby to me, that's my baby. Words cannot express. You know, only God could do that. I believe it was 4 years. We had been married, and Tim and I had decided from the very start that we did not want to have children. And I felt this longing in my heart, like it was important. And then yet I say, but I can't adopt. I don't want to be a mom. I can't. So as much as I would push God away, he would push me further and say, no, this is something you need to do. And I kind of dropped the bomb, if you will, and I said, I need to tell you what God has been telling me to do. And I was surprised. He received it so quickly and said, let's do it. So it was in December of 2002, we received an email that said that we had a baby selected for us from China. It was a little girl, and her name was Ning Xiaopei. And the funniest expression you can imagine on a baby's face is what I saw, and she was adorable. We were standing in the hotel because our guide said that the babies were coming, and we were getting ready. We were all in the hallway, standing right at the elevators, waiting. Finally, the elevator dinged, the door opened, and there are all these people standing there with all these beautiful little babies. I was waiting to see her. I was so anxious to see her. And everybody was getting their babies, and I was looking at all the different families and seeing them unite for the first time with their children. And I was waiting and looking and thinking, where's my baby? Where's my baby? And then after everybody else had theirs, there was one nanny left with a baby in her arms looking, and I was looking, and I laid eyes on her, and I immediately recognized her. Her little facial expression that was in that picture, she had that look on her face. And I was in love. She was precious. And I picked her up, and of course I cried. And she was perfect, and I couldn't believe that God had changed my heart from going from one extreme to the other, not wanting to be a mom, to absolutely adoring this little baby. A lot of people will say, people who go through adoptions the first time, they'll go back again a second time. Tim and I actually both felt the conviction, and kind of simultaneously we came to each other and said, I think it's time. We got a call from the Taiwan agency, and they said, we have a little girl for you. Her name was Xu Jingjing. Faith was very excited about getting a little sister. She was beyond excited. And she knew when I went to Taiwan that I was gonna go get her little sister. And when I came home with Hope, Faith was in bed, and I woke her up. And I said, Faith, I want you to meet your new little sister, Hope. And she was so excited. Her eyes were tired, but she was so excited, and she hugged on her immediately and said, I love you, Hope, and I'll share all my toys with you. Those are the first words out of her mouth. Right after we adopted Hope, Tim was not feeling well. A lot of times he'd have to go into the hospital because he had had his heart transplant. About a year before he passed, he started showing signs of his heart deteriorating at a quicker rate than was normal. God knew before Tim passed. God knew he was going to pass away. And he placed in my heart the conviction to adopt, because God knew that I was going to have a hole in my life, and that I would need somebody and want somebody to love and have loved me, and that I would be able to have my children even after my husband's passing to keep me going strong. And I'm thankful that I listened to his calling and obeyed him, because my girls are perfect for me. I say all the time, thank you, God, of all the babies in the world, that you picked those two for me, because they're perfect for me.